Today, something new in the enterprise networking. Let's check it.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach.
Enough with the intro. Let's start from the beginning. And of course, let's unbox the new devices. So, today we have some devices from Alta Labs, and more specific, the S16 PoE Switch, the smaller one, the S8 PoE Switch, and of course, two access points, the AP6, the Pro version, and the AP6. It looks promising. Let's start with the bigger switch, the S16 PoE. Nice packaging. First, we have this small box with all the hardware. And this is the actual switch. It is protected from this cloth. I have to admit that I like this grey color. It looks very industrial. Here we have the 8 PoE ports. Here are the 8 non-PoE, the 2 SFP ports, the reset button, some holes for ventilation. Here we connect the power cord, and on the bottom we have some information, and as you can see, the total PoE output is 120 watts. It looks very well made. Inside this smaller box, we have all the needed hardware. First of all, the power cord, the two brackets for the rack mount in the same grey color as the switch. Here are some instructions. And here we have all the needed screws. What is really nice is that here it includes two rack studs. It's the first time that I see a switch including the rack studs. Very interesting approach. And as you know, rack studs is one of the best options to mount your switch to your rack. Also, here we have the screws in order to mount the brackets to the switch. Now let's go to the smaller switch, the S8 PoE. This is the power supply, big enough in order to cover all the needs in PoE. As you can see, it's 54 volts. Also some instructions, two screws, and this is the actual switch. Very nice. Also on the same cloth pouch. And this is the bracket for wall mounting. It attaches in the back side like this. Seems very easy. And here are the two access points, the AP6 Pro and the AP6. Let's open the two boxes. It looks almost identical. On the left side we have the Pro version. Let's see what else is included in the two packages. As you can see, the bottom of the access point is metal and works as heatsink. Exactly the same for the non-Pro version. In both access points we have the wall mount bracket, all the needed hardware, screws, covers, and this metal plate which works for drywall. Exactly the same on the Pro version. As you can see, both access points are identical. And there are metal on the base, which works also as a heatsink. Before we proceed further, let's give a look to the actual specification of the devices. First, let's go to the official site of Alta Labs. Let's start with the switches. As you can see, currently there are three options, the S8, the S16 and the S24. We have the two of them, so we'll focus in the first two devices, the S8 and the S16. The smaller one has 8 ports, which 4 of them are PoE+, and the bigger one has 16 ports, which 8 of them are PoE+. The bigger the mounting version, the S16 PoE, has 2 SFP ports, where the smaller one does not have, and the maximum PoE budget is 60 watts for the S8 PoE and 120 watts for the S16 PoE. All of the ports are gigabit. The switching capacity for the S8 is 16 Gbps and for the S16 is 36 Gbps. All the PoE ports are PoE+. Here are some information about the colors of the LEDs, and here you can download all the useful start guides. Now it's time to check the access points. And here are the two access points, the AP6 and the AP6 Pro. Both of them are Wi-Fi 6 devices and are equipped with Bluetooth for easy configuration. Support content filter, and the AP6 supports modulation rate 1024 QAM, where the AP6 Pro supports 4096 QAM. The max Wi-Fi rate is 3 Gbps for the AP6 and 6.3 for the AP6 Pro. Both of the devices can be powered by PoE Plus, and the AP6 Pro is rated for IP54. Enough with the specification, let's go back and connect our devices. I'm pretty sure that many of you will be interested how these devices are compared to the similar devices from Ubiquiti. So let's compare this Alta switch with the similar device from UniFi, this S8 port. As you can see, it looks similar. Alta Lab is a little bit longer, but it feels smaller. And here is the Alta AP6 compared to a UniFi Access Point 6 Lite. And don't forget that the AP6 and AP6 Pro from Alta are identical. Now let's power on the devices. Plenty of colors from the LEDs on the ports and also from the logo on the left side. Let's power on this smaller switch. Similar colors here. And also don't forget that the color of the logo is configurable through the software. Now let's connect through small UTP cables in order to power on the access points. Now the access points are booting on. Let's connect the 8-port switch to the bigger 16 ports switch. And now let's connect everything to the internet. For all the required configurations, today we'll use just an iPad in order to highlight how easy is this procedure. In order to do so, you need to download the Alta Network application and create a new account. Once everything is ready, we can sign in, and now we navigate to the dashboard. Under the network, you see that our devices are already appearing here. Let's set up them by pressing the relevant button. Let's go to the second one. Now it's time to set up the 8-port switch. Exactly the same procedure, very easy. And finally, the S16 PoE Switch. Now that all of our devices are connected, under the Devices tab, you can see all the devices that are on the same network, and under the dashboard, some real-time graphs. Okay, now let's give a look in some basic settings. First, let's go to the Network tab and make some changes in the name of the devices. Here, as you can see, we can have some stats for each device, like CPU load, memory load, and channels used. And if we press on the icon, we can edit the device. Here, an example, the access point, the Wi-Fi, the settings. Let's give it a more descriptive name. In this case, is the AP6. And press save. Let's do it for all devices. This is the AP6 Pro access point. Here are the settings for the switches. This is the S8 PoE Switch. And finally, the S16 PoE Switch. As you can see, even from the mobile application, which we are using in the iPad, we have plenty of options here. We'll go through all these options on the next video. Here, for example, if we select one port, we have plenty of configuration per each port. And under the settings, first of all, we can configure a Wi-Fi network name, give it a password. Different passwords mean different settings, different VLANs, and this is one of the greatest features of Alta Wi-Fi access points. We'll go through this in details in the next video. Under the system, we can configure the access point LED colors. Here we can create new users, and here we have some options for quick filtering. We can either block an application or a group. Group is with blue color, and with red color we have the application. Very easy and quick solution. Let's try a couple of them. And that is ready. We press save and that's it. Now it's time to give a look at the different sites. If you press on the upper right corner the icon, here you have the option to configure different sites. You can add a new one, we can give it a name, select an icon, and just add it. You can search in the sites, plenty of options here also. We'll go through all of this in details in the next video. One other feature that Alta is really proud is the fact that it can scan the network without interrupting the connection. Let's give it a try. If you select an access point and go to Scan tab, you can either select Quick Scan or Full Scan. Let's try Quick Scan. As you can see, it didn't take more than a couple of seconds. And now let's try a Full Scan. Which, as you can see, it does not interrupt our connection. Perfect. Also very quick. Now if you want to have the full experience, you need to go to manage.alta.inc. And here you have access to your Alta devices through the network. As we already said, we'll go through all of this in details in the next video. In many cases, cloud access to the device is not the perfect solution. But as far as I know, Alta is working on a local controller. So we need to stay tuned in order to check in the future what they will bring up. Now, our thoughts on Alta devices. I have to admit that they look really nice. It seems that it is an alternative solution to enterprise networking. There was some small bugs in the application, but nothing that will prevent me from using Alta in the future. Their devices look really robust and really well made. Also, the Wi-Fi coverage seems to be great. We'll check this in details in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please press like and consider subscribing to our channel. Stay tuned.